Good morning and welcome to Spirit 360 Fellowship. I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium, and today we're going to talk about how do we awaken? How do we open our spiritual eyes of our soul? How do we increase our spiritual awareness so we can create a happy, thriving life? Welcome to Spirit 360 Fellowship again. If it's your first time here, welcome. We're an online spiritualist church, and our focus and intention is really to help you rediscover your spirit. And by when I say rediscover your spirit, I mean your spirit self, your spirit guides and teachers, and most importantly, to reignite your spirit for living. If you remember when you were at some point in your life, you were able to have some fun. You enjoyed things. There was a sense of curiosity. There was a sense of mystery. For some of us, that went away at a very, very young age. While for others, it went away later in life. But for most of us, we have a sense of being resigned and cynical. The purpose and the intention of being able to open the spiritual eyes of our soul, to reach spiritual awakening, to have an enlightenment experience, is simply a matter of allowing ourselves to open spiritual awareness. But what is spiritual awareness? Well, spiritual awareness is access to that information that is available to our spiritual senses. Our spiritual senses exist in our spirit body, and our spirit body is that part of us that lives after we die. Our soul, or our physical body, is an animal, driven by instinct, an instinct to survive, an instinct to procreate, and an instinct to live up to what our genetic code says. If you're a goose, you fly south for the winter. If you're a hummingbird, you fight off other hummingbirds. So those are all instinctual behaviors of our physical animal body. Our spirit body is energy. That's the housing for our consciousness, our awareness. So many scientists are looking for the source of consciousness, the source of awareness, and they can't find it in the physical body. They can measure all the stuff from our soul, the electrochemical processes of taking in food and converting it to energy. But they can't find the source of our consciousness, the observer, if you will, that part of ourselves that sees and knows what the beast or the body is doing. So today we're going to really look at learning how to master your spiritual awareness so you can find happiness and you can start to thrive. In today's world, this is being recorded. We are having this service live during the COVID-19 pandemic. And these are uncertain times. These are times when the beast is frightened. The beast is scared, the body. When I say beast, I mean the body, the physical you, that animal you, the part that was conceived in three-dimensional reality. And that fear, that concern, that worry, all around survival, is hardwired into our DNA. When we reach uncertain times, we go into survival mode. We just want to be able to live. We want to be able to ensure that we're safe. But we add another level of complication when we got our big brains, our big prefrontal cortex, where we can become aware of self, abstract thought, because abstract thought becomes real thought, whether or not it's grounded in physical reality or not. So spiritual awareness is opening up our three-dimensional reality to the energetic or conscious state, conscious self, spirit self, to understand what the physical senses cannot, to understand where we have an opportunity, where we have an option, where we can exist beyond the limits of our physical self. Now, what the heck does all this mean? What does this mean to you? How will it make a difference in your life and your existence? Well, the difference happens, the difference is created through spiritual practice, but not just any spiritual practice, a spiritual practice that leads to displayable skills. And I've worked really hard for the last 30 years to try to figure a way to articulate, to teach things that you can make a real difference in your life through all your spiritual practice. Because I don't know about you, I've meditated a lot. I've meditated really hard. I've tried every way in the world to meditate. And in that process, I've realized that meditation alone is not enough. Meditation is great to create insight. Meditation is great to allow us to perceive different things, to understand different things. But the problem is, it only takes us so far. And what we need to be able to open up is an access to taking actions that give us what we want, to bring about the results we need in our life. And that's the spiritual awareness process. That's a spiritual growth process. So allowing ourselves to be present here now in this moment is what meditation is for. Once you get here now in this moment, whatever method or path you use, we teach stillness meditation because we found that's the fastest way to get to here and now in this moment. But once you get here and now what? Well, that's what you need to access. So spiritual growth, spiritual awareness is about answering three questions in your life. Who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? Who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? The most important of those is where am I going? Because until you know exactly where you are going, you're kind of a ship without a rudder. You've got this body, this avatar, this game piece, this bag, this meat suit, if you will. Some people are really proud of saying, oh, I'm a spiritual being in a physical reality. They're married together. There's really no distinction. You are here to learn very specific things and bring about specific results, and those results happen when you know where you're going. Some people call this your life purpose. Some people call this the meaning of life. Some people just call this life. And some people just don't care. They just don't have any understanding or perception whatsoever what's going on. But if you're an old soul, if you're an empath, if you are a highly sensitive person who somehow knows there's more to life than meets the eye, who somehow knows that life is beyond the scope of what the physical body, the physical senses provide us as information to help us survive, to help us procreate and live out our animal destiny, then in that moment, with that awareness, your life purpose becomes a destination upon which the journey to attain that destination, to arrive at the destination, becomes what we're here for. Now your why you're here is important because each one of us have a unique, personal, individual reason to get to the place we want to go. And once you understand your why, then your where is more easily navigated. So my why is really to champion old souls, to champion the causes of empaths, to champion the causes of highly sensitive people, to ensure that as your champion, I give you real, valid, scientific method to develop your own spiritual awareness. That's my why. I love it. I want you to be empowered. I want you to get to the source of your spirit, the signal, the light, if you will, that is given only through your spiritual awareness. So, once you figure out where you're going, once you figure out who you are or why you're here, then you need to really figure out who you are. And who you are is simply you. And part of figuring out who you are is simply accepting who is there. Sounds counterintuitive. At the same time, once you get grounded in the fact that who you are is sufficient for any and everything, who you are is inherently loving and lovable. Who you are is the essence of spirit. Who you are is a beautiful entity incarnate right now to have specific experiences, to bring about a three-dimensional reality that exemplifies your values and your beliefs. So all of this is a very long way to say one specific thing. The fastest way to accelerate, E-X-C-E-L, accelerate your purpose in life is to master and learn to access your spiritual awareness on command. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I've meditated a lot and for a lot of years. And one concept has been presented to me 3 decades ago that I've just recently begun to understand. And for me right now, in my level of spiritual awareness and my understanding of who I am, why I'm here, and where am I going, this one word, I've just gotten a deeper understanding, a deeper connection, a deeper experience of, and it came from a very sad event. So right now, a dear friend of mine and my wife and a dear friend of this community is deciding to transition. If you know her, we're going to, in the interactive part of this service, I'm going to record some of your comments so I can share them with her a little bit later today. But in her transition from animal to pure spirit, as she's planning her crossover, as she's planning her escape from the three-dimensional reality and returning home, if you will, to connect with her friends and loved ones over there waiting for her. She's struggling with how and why the heck she's still here. And it didn't hit me until this morning. So this is the message I'm going to be sharing with her in just a short while. And that word is surrender. Surrender. And for her to let go of this fight, this struggle to survive in this physical body, she has to surrender control. She has to let go of control. She has to give up control. But that is counter-instinctual to everything that we are born to do. As animals, our instinct is to survive. Our instinct is to fight. Our instinct is to take flight sometimes to preserve life. And sometimes we freeze to preserve this thing called life, because life is the most valid understanding it has. The most valid experience we have is clinging on to our soul, this unique incarnation right now. Everything we relate to is through our physical senses, our physical experiences. And as animals, our entire evolution has us want to survive. Here's the thing that's less dramatic, but equally important. For you to be able to truly become a spiritually guided entity, a spiritually guided being, for you to do the most advanced spiritual work, the work of getting out of your body on command, out-of-body experiences, the work of healing your body, the work of healing other people's body, the work of experiencing your spiritual senses and forming your physical senses and your physical understanding. We have to be able to surrender our physical control, our physical need, our physical urge, our physical instinct to survive everything. So it's allowing ourselves to completely surrender in our meditation, surrender to stillness, that allows us to then open the door open the portal, open the portal, open the window, if you will, to our spirit. And once that portal, once that door, once that window is open, it's our spiritual growth practices that allow us to open and close that portal on command. Most of us can have access to our psychic abilities, our intuitive knowing, from time to time and randomly. Some people use drugs to have an experience of opening that spiritual portal, to get rid of this, to surrender the control over the physical body, to allow the spiritual essence to come through. However, if you look at what the great masters taught, none of them said, go out, do drugs, and become aware. They taught on command control. Meditate. Allow yourself to get present here, now, in this moment. After you do that, then you have options, you have choices based not only on the physical reality, but on your spiritual information. So here's the key part about your 3 questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? And more importantly, how you can access your life purpose, your meaningful existence, to create happiness, to create a thriving life, even in the time of pandemic. Because here's what's going to happen. Sometime in the near future, we don't know when, the doors to the world are going to be open again. And in this time, if you so choose, you can begin the process of allowing yourself to experience accessing this spirit self, the spiritual knowing, and doing it on command. And to do so requires us to let go of any idea, any thought, any perception we have of what that means. To surrender to now. And once we are now, in this moment, present, understanding the answers to those 3 questions, who am I, why am I here, where am I going, from a spiritual perspective, from our spiritual insight, from our spirit self. Remember, we're here to help you rediscover your spirit self, teachers, and ignite that spirit for living. Once we have access to that, once we are able in that moment to surrender what the instinctual self has to say and step into what the intuitive self has to inform us, something changes. Something shifts. Panic, worry, and fear start to slowly dissipate. Our psychic, and by psychic I mean mental, and our psychosis, and our psychiatric self, the part of our brain that interacts and controls our emotions and our fears and our perceptions. So that psychic self, the psyche, your ego, your id, your personality type, your MTBI type, and your all these different things people can label who you are and your characteristics and how you believe. That part of ourselves starts to diminish. And we're able to see the future as a foreshadow of what's to come. However, until we allow ourselves that level of control, and that level of control only comes through surrender, can we then see truly who we are without any of the delusions of the outward senses, without any of the fears that we're not going to exist any longer, without any of the delusions of what we think we see, hear, know, and understand, and begin to allow ourselves to see things as they really are, as experienced through the energetic experiences of the spiritual or psychic senses. We all end up in the same place. This body is going to disappear. Some sooner, some later. In uncertain times when we have no sense of whether it will be sooner or later. historical data that we inherited from our parents or the people who raised us starts to take over. And once that takes over, we start to many times have uncontrolled experiences, uncontrolled behaviors, uncontrolled irrational thoughts. It's only through the discipline of spiritual practice, of training your mind, training your brain to do what you want when you want, that allow you to control that irrational 3-year-old who always asks why or says no when you try to get it to do what you want it to do. The only way that that happens is through surrender, through spiritual practice that is verifiable in its nature, that removes all doubt and has you deal with the reality of what's so. So as you surrender to your meditation, surrender to stillness. As you start to surrender to objective realities of the results or the karma of your past behaviors, you look at your bank account balance. What does it say right now? That reflects a certain reality. You look at the scale in your body composition. That reflects the reality of certain behaviors and actions. You look at your relationship status. And I got that pretty much every relationship in the world is complicated, but is it really? Or are we dead set on making it complicated? Pardon me. So, surrendering to objective reality is the essence of spiritual growth and practice. For you to be able to open the spiritual eyes of your soul, to see things as they really are, open your eyes to see, open your ears to hear, open your heart to give and receive love freely, open your mind to understand, requires that we surrender to energy, to spirit. Surrender our instinct to survive at all costs, fight at all costs, take care of ourselves at all costs. Anyway, that's about it. To increase and improve your spiritual awareness. You've heard it too many times and it's too simple. Master the 3 R's, right meditation, right thought, right action. Once you're able to surrender to the process, the simplicity of the process, you will start to make progress. And as you become more and more grounded in what it takes to cause results in your life, if you need to lose weight, and the process is pretty simple, eat right and exercise. There's a lot of variations of what eat right and exercise is, but that's the formula. Every time you hop on the scale, you get feedback. If you need money, you need a job, you need a vocation, you need a business. Your bank account balance gives you that information. And it's your relationship to how do you create that result that allows you to master this 3 R's process, right meditation, right thought, right action. And the right action begets karma, an effect which allows you to understand and know if you're making progress. As you do, you'll start to get 3-dimensional reality reflecting the essence of what you're bringing about. So, that's it. If something in this talk rang true to you, seemed right, just felt right, then you may be in the right place. You may be able to start having a spiritual path based and grounded in reality of rigorous spiritual training. We offer those classes at Old Soul Academy. I'll put a link in the description, or you can find it on our Facebook page. At Old Soul Academy, we have a course we're offering right now called Spiritualism Made Simple. It introduces our spiritualism philosophy, devoid of religious artifacts. And then this philosophy, we allow you to stop thinking about what you're doing and start actually doing it with demonstrative, three-dimensional reality. If that makes sense to you, if it's appealing to you, check it out. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to be invited to one of our interactive services, after this, we're going to go to an interactive service, and we will do a meditation, we will do a guided healing experience, we will do an absence healing service, and then we will offer a messages service where each attendee is offered a message from our spirit guides and teachers. Visit Old Soul Academy, visit spirit360.org, spirit360.org, and sign up for our list, and you will receive an invite and instructions on how to join our interactive service. With that, I want to wish you my highest blessings. As I mentioned, I have a dear friend who is in the process of transitioning, and we all are in the process of transitioning. It's how we live today that makes that transition possible. Regardless of where you are in your path towards that transition, today's the only day we've got. Allow yourself to love and be loved. Allow yourself to connect with those that are important to you. Allow yourself, most importantly of all, to go within, surrender your instinct to survive at all cost, and allow yourself to experience the beauty and oneness of an eternal life, which is manifest through understanding and connecting with your spirit self. Once you connect with the eternity of your spirit self, and you become informed by what that spirit self has to share with you, things change. Will they be for the better or worse? Quite honestly, it depends. Some of us have made quite a few messes in our lives and have some cleanup to do from that. But here's the thing that happens. Once you're truly connected with where you're going from here, why you're going there, and who it is that's taking that journey, life becomes simple. Not at all easy, but simple. You take one step, followed by another, enjoying the journey as you go, connecting with people, attracting to people, but more importantly, connecting with yourself and allowing yourself to experience what you incarnated to bring about this lifetime. So, thank you very much for your attention. If you can, leave us a comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this topic. Give us a thumbs down if you think I'm not worthy of all this stuff, if I'm too talky. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our channel, to YouTube channel, or like our Facebook page. It's my intention that together we walk individual paths to nirvana, individual spiritual perfection. And as we join each other along these unique paths, that we see things as they really are, love freely, and most importantly of all, make sure that we accomplish what we incarnated this lifetime to accomplish. So this lifetime becomes significant in our spiritual growth and evolution, rather than something that doesn't get done what we wanted to be done. The choice is ours. The responsibility is ours. Enjoy the journey. And what's fun is, once you understand who you are, why you're here, and where you're going, you will attract some most interesting people into your life. My highest blessings. And if you're waiting for the interactive service, I'll be over there in just a minute or two. My highest blessings.